Hello, welcome to this podcast episode. Today we're going to talk about hexatonic scales. The other day I released a video on the YouTube channel at Fretprint, so if you haven't seen that yet, check that one out. There I discuss 3 different ways of constructing these hexatonic scales. In this talk we're going to focus on stacking triads, and we'll consider chord scales for these so that we can apply them in tunes that we already know. I'll also include some helpful links down below, including some books that you might find helpful if you're interested in digging deeper. So let's talk about the D major triad over the C major triad. These are difficult to stack as chords, but why don't we give it a go here and try it out just to get this in our ear. At least they're a bit difficult on guitar. Okay, so here's C and D together. We have D on top and C on bottom. Now, playing these melodically, we can separate them out as well. Or play them in stepwise motion. So, some chord scales to consider. Well, this particular collection of notes doesn't have a C major 7 or doesn't have a minor 7 interval from the root note if we're considering C as a root note. So it will be compatible with either one. So C major 7 or C dominant 7. Actually, I mentioned this one in the video that I mentioned earlier. The A minor 7. This sound will work well over that as well. There's D7 or even D7 sus4. Can also fit nicely on the F sharp, F diminished. As well as F sharp altered scale and others. But those are a few areas where you're going to find that you'll really be able to put these into practice on a lot of tunes. So before I move on to some other stacked triads, remember to work with individual chords. You could take quite a bit of time on any one of those examples and really just work at having your ear absorb and accept each one of those tones on a given chord sound. Play them stepwise and play them as individual triads as well. And keep in mind, this is not an exhaustive list of chords, just a few that really serve you well on a lot of standard tunes, or a lot of tunes in general, modal tunes. Well, let's check a combination between the minor and the major. Keep in mind, we want these 2 triads to have no overlap in notes. So we need to have 3 notes for each. So let's check out B minor and C major. So like I said earlier, many of these are going to be really tough to combine and stack up on 6-string here, 6-string guitar. But let's play a little bit on this one here, just to get a sense for the sound of it. Okay, now let's play it stepwise, and we'll start on C. Okay, well, let's find some chords that will work really nicely with this sound. Well, we have C major 7, and we're getting Lydian kind of sound on that, right? So we have a sharp 11. A minor 7. I think I mentioned this maybe in a different note collection, but in that previous YouTube video. In this case, we have a rootless type collection of tones over the A minor 7. This one also works on many of the other chords that the previous one did as well. We have the F sharp half diminished. We have the D7. Or the D7 sus4. And of course, B minor 7. Keep in mind that there is a whole lot of study with any one of those given chord scales. So give them time and let them sink in individually. Try to hear each and every tone on the chord. So far, those hexatonics fit into our diatonic system of general key signatures. So let's consider one that's outside of that major scale note collection. We'll stack C with B. So let's hear the triads here. Now we might associate this with something like the E harmonic minor. Again, let's listen to the harmony of this once, get a sense for the sound of it. Pretty wild sound, pretty cool too. Let's consider B7 flat 9 here. Let's check out F sharp half diminished, or F sharp minor 7 flat 5. So we're going to find this sound particularly useful on that chord. And we may consider C major 7, although we're going to get a pretty kind of outside sound on this. Kind of Lydian sharp 9. All right, let's check out major scales that are separated by a tritone. This one's really great for dominant sevenths and diminished type scales and chords. So let's consider F sharp over C. Okay, let's hear it as a chord. Remember, a lot of these are going to be really pretty tough to play, but I just want to give you kind of an example of the sound of it. So how does this work with a C7? Let's start with that. If we play F sharp 7 on the C, C7, I will have the flat 7, which is part of the C7, then you have flat 9 and a sharp 11. So we're getting some real alterations to C7. But we still do have a natural fifth because of our C major triad. So let's play a few tones starting with the C. Okay, so we have flat 9, 3, sharp 11, fifth, flat 7, and of course the root note in this case. So this is pretty cool because you can try it not only on the C, but on the F sharp as well. Also on E flat 7. And A7. The E flat 7 and the A7 being rootless for the hexatonic scale. All of these hexatonic scales are really fun to learn and play and develop runs on them. And this one works out really nicely. So try running up alternating. And see how that affects sounds on playing over, especially an open section of where you have a static chord going on. I played those in root position, but of course you can do the same thing with inversions. So there are a few hexatonic type scales to consider there. There are a whole lot more, and I could go on and on here, but that's a good sampling and really a large amount of work to put in on really any one of those chord scales on any one of those hexatonic sounds matched with the harmony. Well, if you're listening to this podcast and haven't already checked out the YouTube channel, please head over to youtube.com/@fretprints. If you'd like to support the channel and have the added benefit of watching the video version of this podcast, check out the description down below where you can join the YouTube member area, Lessons and Talks, or join the website membership area at fretprints.com. Well, I do hope that this stimulates a lot of ideas and provides a few ideas and concepts to run with here. Create variety on your improvisation. Keep in mind that if you haven't worked with the specifics of this material before, it will take some time to absorb. So be patient and practice with it daily if you can. It will show up in your playing on a more intuitive level. This could take many months. All right, everyone. Well, enjoy your practice session, and I'll see you all in the next one.